Awkward jokes, stolen glances, and one moment involving Chef Ramsay that nobody was ready for.
I was just so stunned. Chef Ramsay really did like that dish.
That was amazing.
Stick with me for the most awkward and cringy flirting moments you can't unsee. Season 7 started off weird in the best way possible, and it all happened right in episode 1 during the signature dish challenge. Ramsay noticed a quiet woman with glasses standing in line. She admitted she was a stay-at-home mom with almost no restaurant experience, and you could feel the doubt spreading through the room.
You with the glasses. Yeah.
Yes, chef.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a mom, but I'm a cookbook author.
Never worked in a restaurant.
No, chef.
When it was her turn, she served veal scallopini with spinach. Ramsay took a bite, paused, and calmly said it was delicious. The chefs were stunned.
From it looking like baby vomit, what is that?
It's veal scallopini.
Oh, God. That dish was delicious.
Thank you, chef.
I mean, I'm shocked. It may look slightly dull and boring, a little bit like you, but well done.
She nervously joked about how scary Ramsay was, and instead of yelling, he hugged her and kissed her on the cheek, instantly making things awkward.
Scary.
Okay, let me give you a hug. Up, there, right. Relax, 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 relax. Thank you. God, it was good.
But it didn't stop there. Moments later, Ramsay leaned in again, close enough to make everyone uncomfortable. The chefs reacted fast, awkward jokes, confused faces, and straight-up disbelief.
I wanted to be first.
I was just so stunned. Chef Ramsay really did like that dish.
That was amazing.
Then came the reveal. She wasn't a contestant at all. She is Ramsay's wife, Tana, who had disguised herself to prove a point. Experience didn't matter, only talent and magic did.
This person is my wife, Tana.
Thank God it's his wife.
The point I was trying to make is that I don't give two about how much experience you've got. What I do care about is who has the magic, who has it. She definitely has it.
Corey realized pretty early that Hell's Kitchen wasn't just about what happened on the stove. Sometimes it was about getting inside people's heads. So in episode 3, she tried using a little charm to shake up the blue team.
Obviously, I know that some of the boys could be attracted to my body. I was just flirting it up with the guys and trying to play with the boys' heads a bit.
She casually invited Ben to the hot tub, testing the waters. Ben shut it down immediately, calling it awkward, and that plan ended just as fast as it started.
Ben, come here. Come in the hot tub.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious. Love you.
There ain't no way that anybody's looking at Corey.
Jason, however, didn't see it the same way. He stepped in, got comfortable, and relaxed with the girls. Once he settled in, he started talking more than he should have.
What's up, girl? How you doing?
Come on, strip down, hop in the hot tub with us. I mean, they're obviously not going to tell.
Oh, I know a lot of people are Craig right now because he up so hard on chicken.
So what else is going on?
Frustrations slipped out, especially about Craig, and even Ben's non-stop talking came up. When Ben found out later, he felt exposed and betrayed, like team business had been shared when it shouldn't have been.
Who's in the hot tub?
Jason's in the hot tub.
He's already been crying. He's a little crybaby.
He's gonna run his mouth like that. You know, if it's one thing that I cannot stand, it is rat. He ratted out his team.
By episode 6, Corey kept the same approach but played it smarter. She joked around with LaRosse and kept things light, even jumping into the hot tub again.
I love you.
I love you too.
I'm going in the hot tub. I think LaRosse is probably attracted to me, and it definitely makes him an easy target.
LaRosse stayed back, already sensing the setup. Corey clocked that immediately.
Come here. Really, there was nothing going on.
She made it clear this wasn't personal, reminding everyone she had a boyfriend, and this was all strategy. LaRosse stayed focused, choosing the competition over the distraction.
He's seriously like 4 feet tall. I'm like 6 feet tall, so don't think it's happening. And I have a boyfriend.
This moment from season 10 honestly felt like Guy walked into that challenge with confidence, turned up to a whole new level. In episode 6, he stepped up during the Fashion Night Planning Challenge and presented his trio of swordfish with chili, paprika, and saffron.
Guy, present the dish, thank you.
We have swordfish, puttanesca, seasoned with chili, paprika, and saffron. What we wanted to do is bring the spiciness of Spain and Italy. And I know this is 2 countries that produce a lot of fashion.
He tied it to Italy and Spain, which matched Ina Soltani's design influences, and you guys could practically see the spark in their eye contact. It was subtle, but it was there.
I have a very personal connection with Italy and Spain.
Ina gave me the eyes.
As soon as I see that connection, oh, yeah, okay, I know what's your favorite. You're not fooling me.
I'm going to surrender to this one.
It's not new to me. most women surrender.
Amanda Che loved the muscle and clam idea since it connected to her swimwear style.
I really do love the mussels and clams. Being a swimwear designer, I think that will resonate with a lot of our guests.
And once the judges tasted the dish, they called it delicious, just needed a cleaner presentation.
Delicious.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think you just need to really refine and simplify and edit that presentation.
Guy and his partner still won that round over Kimmy and Robin, and the blue team took the challenge 2-1. And honestly, his charm definitely played its part in that win.
Blue all the way.
Yeah! Great job.
Season 14 of Hell's Kitchen had its own little comedy moments, and Josh definitely added to that in episode 2. Once everyone got back to the dorms, he started chatting up the women on the red team, Michelle, Christine, and especially Sarah. And honestly, you guys could tell he was just enjoying the attention.
Anyone else want their binder decorated?
Oh, just decorate mine? Christine, where are you going?
To take my medicine.
Nice. What's up, Sarah?
Stuff.
You writing about me?
I will never let you read this.
So today, Josh said hello to me.
But on the other side of the room, Nick was watching the whole thing unfold and could already sense that Josh was getting a little too carried away. He straight up told him to chill out before it turned into a bigger distraction.
Oh my God, Josh is out of control.
These are man hands.
He flirts with everyone. Like, dude, chill out.
Do you also think Season 9 had some of the most unexpected dorm moments, and Carrie definitely delivered one in episode 2? While the rest of the women stayed focused on the menu, she drifted off toward the blue team's reward energy and grabbed a glass of wine. Before long, she and Brendan were talking in a way that you guys could instantly tell had a little extra spark to it.
What happened to some little Dallas loser that you broke his heart or something?
Oh, I broke many hearts.
I have no doubt.
You don't know about me. I'm evil.
Are you devious and evil and stuff? No, I don't see it at all.
What are you doing?
They kept getting closer, and when they walked over to the fridge, she wrapped him in a soft hug from behind and wished him sweet dreams.
Have sweet dreams, Brendan.
You too, baby.
All right.
Sweet dreams.
You be good.
I'll try.
A few seconds later, she told him to come see her, and he actually did.
Hey, Brendan.
Yes?
Come here for a sec.
Excuse me.
When she mentioned she wasn't getting much exercise, Brendan casually joked about having an idea to help her burn some calories, which instantly made everyone look over. And just like that, the two slipped away into the bedroom and closed the door, leaving the whole dorm buzzing.
I'm not getting any exercise here.
Figure out a way for you to burn calories.
Season 12, Episode 8 opened with one of those blink and you miss it moments that suddenly felt impossible to ignore.
We are celebrating this anniversary right here in Hell's Kitchen. Can I have your party planning committee come forward, please?
Right before the 161st Sorority Anniversary Planning Challenge began, one of the blonde committee members started talking to Ramsay, and right away the vibe felt a little strange. Her tone was extra playful, like she was trying a bit too hard.
Ladies, how important is this anniversary party to you?
Oh, it is so important. Like, there's going to be a lot of alumnis here, so the pressure is really on, isn't it?
The blonde was just like, all up in her talking.
Looks like home, baby.
As the challenge continued, more people started seeing it too. Even Sandra looked over, clearly picking up the same feeling.
That mac and cheese was perfect.
Good.
I do like it. It's very warm and hot. I'm very hungry. Such a flirt.
The flavors, they just smell so well.
The committee member stayed bubbly and sweet, while Ramsay kept things calm and professional, barely reacting at all. That contrast made the moment quietly awkward in a funny way.
It's a married man you're trying to flirt with. She was crazy flirtatious.
I think I want some more of that shrimp.
Nice.
Nothing big happened, but once everyone noticed it, the moment was impossible to ignore. Episode 6 of Season 9 gave us one of those moments that made everyone laugh and cringe at the same time. Back at the dorms, Natalie had loosened up after a few drinks and ended up stumbling straight into the pool.
Hey, will you take a picture of me standing in, like, flower garden?
I'll take a picture of you whenever. Oh. Why don't you take
Instead of getting embarrassed, she laughed it off and the whole room followed. Jonathan grabbed his camera and Natalie didn't seem to mind at all.
Natalie deserves it. Natalie worked hard. We all worked hard. Letting her hair down.
I wish I could have got the splash, man. That was a classic.
She even joked that the guys probably enjoyed the distraction, especially since some of them missed their wives.
I think a lot
lot of the guys on the blue team, you know, they miss their wives, they miss their girlfriends, and they really love having me on the team. I appreciate all the comments they make and wanting to take pictures of me.
As she posed for a few pictures, she casually mentioned she had modeled before, which suddenly made her confidence make sense. She leaned into the attention, saying it made her feel like a movie star and helped everyone relax.
Yo, why don't you take the yellow thing off already, man?
Should have been a model, not a cook.
I modeled for a while.
And just when things were calming down, Paul snapped one last photo as she stepped out, turning the night into one of those flirty, awkward moments you can't help but remember. Season 17's 4th episode gave us a short but memorable bit of harmless charm. Back at the dorm, Van walked in with that confident smile and greeted Barbie and Elise with a playful statement, which instantly made Barbie laugh.
How are my Nubian princesses doing out here tonight?
You come with your flirting.
Their back and forth kept rolling as she teased him about the warm tint on his face, calling him hot-blooded.
He's always hot. Like, he's hot-blooded.
Chicks love cuddling with me in the wintertime.
Yeah.
And Van leaned into it without missing a beat. He admitted he had a soft spot for strong black women and even joked that he could charm the fangs off a rattlesnake.
I have a California king by myself.
Me too. I got a sleigh bed, it's all leather.
I'm always cold.
Oh. Oh, Lord. I like strong black women, and Barbie is... I got some charm, I got some charisma. I can charm the fangs off a rattlesnake.
It was one of those quick, light moments where both sides enjoyed the attention without taking anything too seriously. Season 19 gave us one of the most talked about flirty duos in the show, Cody and Mary Lou. Their chemistry really showed in episode 11 when they were playing cards back at the dorms. Mary Lou kept winning, Cody kept calling her pretty, and the whole vibe was just light and playful.
You like me a lot.
I know I do. You're a nice person, and you're pretty.
Yay, I win!
She liked his energy too, and it was clear they were getting closer. Then episode 13 took things up a notch. Cody had just earned his black jacket and immediately shared the moment with Mary Lou, pulling her in for a happy hug.
Hard work pays off, I gotta say. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Later, the two slipped away for a quick hot tub break as Mary Lou wanted to unwind. Cody told her he was proud of her for getting the first black jacket of the season and even called her a light in the tunnel.
Cody's gonna follow me into the hot tub.
Mary Lou is kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel. She's a very honest person, and it's nice to have someone like that.
But right when it felt like the moment was building, Amber showed up to join them, and Cody's face said everything. It was cute while it lasted, though.
Hey, guys.
Amber's coming.
Everything was going smooth.
Can I come out here?
They basically ruined it.
Season 7 delivered one of the most playful and awkward flirting storylines, and Holly was right at the center of it. In episode 10, things kicked off during a reward where Alexandra Petrosian showed the team how to taste caviar and champagne.
You should take a sip of the champagne to clean your palate.
Absolutely adorable.
It's the Rolls Royce of the caviar. It's the Iranian caviar. It's the most expensive.
Perfect aphrodisiac.
Holly was instantly smitten. She joked around, flirted openly, and laughed about being locked in the dorms for so long that she didn't even need an aphrodisiac.
I've been locked in a dorm I don't even know how long, so I don't think I need an aphrodisiac. I'm ready to go crazy right now.
When the women got back, she carried that same energy straight to Jay, and he definitely noticed.
Hey, Jay, want some caviar?
Holly could easily tuck my pants right off. No alcohol needed, without a doubt.
By episode 11, the teasing had turned into a running joke. During punishment, Jay made a comment about Holly polishing wood, and she fired right back, flipping him off and tossing in her own innuendo.
I have 2 goals in Hell's Kitchen. One is to win, shun it real good. And my second is to sleep with Holly.
This punishment is so boring. We just joke around about it.
Everyone caught on fast. The flirting kept the punishment from feeling endless.
Don't choke. Don't choke.
We don't talk about food. We talk about...
Episode 12 is where it peaked. Jay and Holly won a luxury hotel reward together, and the flirting started in the limo.
Well, you picked him because he was second.
Yes.
No other reason.
And the blue hair. I think it'll be really fun with Jay. You know, he's actually a really cool guy. I like Jay.
At the hotel, the compliments kept coming. Jean-Philippe joked about a honeymoon suite.
What would you like to have, like the nuptials? Oh my, well, I'm sure in that case we could probably...
I do.
And the night ended back at the dorm hot tub. The mood was building until Autumn showed up and shut it all down instantly.
Hi,
honestly don't think there's anything seriously going on between Holly and Jay. I think that they had a good time and they had a few drinks. This is gonna be awesome.